Welcome back to Island Time Watch Review. I am Chris. Today we're going to look at my first vintage watch, and I'm really stoked on it. I've been wearing it. I've actually had it for a little while now, at least a couple months, but I've been wearing it to special occasions and out and about. So kind of just wanted to sit down and talk about it finally. I've just been enjoying it too much. It is the 1976 Seiko Lordmatic Special. I love this thing, man. Let's go ahead and bring it down and check it out. Alright guys, here we are. This is my first vintage piece. This is the 1976 Seiko Lordmatic Special. And I love this thing, man. I've had it for a little while. I haven't reviewed it just because I've been wearing it a lot and to special occasions as well. Let's get the specs out of the way before we kind of get into the really interesting stuff about this watch. This is about 36.5 millimeters. The lug to lug is 41 millimeters. It is about 9.6 millimeters thick, and the lug width here is actually 19 millimeters. So yeah, I mean, the first striking thing about this watch is that linen dial. I am a sucker for linen dials. In fact, one of my Grail watches is probably a Rolex, date just of some kind, maybe two-tone with linen dial. That's like what I'm looking for. Oh, by the way, before we do this, wristwatch check. Still wearing my Damasco. I love this thing. Damasco DS30 Wind-Up Edition. It's a great watch, man. This is a great piece, man. This is like, you get some history here. You get a lot of like prestige, but you also just get a lot of like great design and value. So that's kind of why I chose this watch, and this case just looks so cool to me. If you notice up close, we have some applied baguette indices, and let me go ahead and clean this off a little. There's a double indices right at the 12. Other than that, it's like pretty simple dial. The hands, which I really love, they're these like polished batons. But if you can kind of see it, it's really hard to see in the light because there's like right around there's a black stripe right in the middle, and it's so subtle, but like it makes it so legible. See, like, even if there's like, we're under my little studio lights here, it just makes the hands kind of pop and separate themselves from the dial. So it's really legible. I love that. That's like one of my favorite things about this watch. It's actually a lot more legible than I thought it would be, just being a dress watch, really high polish. Yeah, I love that. So also this watch has the day and the date, and so the day wheel has English and kanji, and then there's the date wheel. And I guess everything else on this is a stainless steel watch. Everything else on this is really that steel silver color. But the LM right there for Lordmatic at the bottom, right above the 6, it is gold. So it kind of has a little splash of that gold. I really like that. And it's just a really simple, clean dial, man. And we'll get into the design here in just a moment. But yeah, I freaking love this watch, man. I have it, so it came on a cheaper, I guess, just generic leather strap. And it was kind of a lighter blue color, which actually works, I think, but it's just not my style, I think, in general. So I do have a gray strap. But this is also a Milanese strap that I got from Gakoda. So I'll put a link down in the description for this strap. They have it in 19 millimeters, which is great, and it fits perfect. And I think it kind of gives it a sporty but still dressy vibe. I really love it. And the thing with Milanese too, you get this clasp here, and so you can really dial in the length that works for you. So I love that. The movement in this guy is 23 joule 5216 high beat movement, and it's auto, automatic, but you can hand wind it. And there's also a quick set for the date and the day. So the quick set is awesome. Great feature. The one little drawback I'd say is this crown is pretty tiny, so it can hurt when you're winding it a little bit. But it's part of the charm, and it's a small, watch, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I don't have the biggest fingers in the world, but yeah, you'll notice that. I mean, the crown is a little small. And under that LM, that gold LM, you'll see special. That is a signifier that there was a higher standard of regulation on this particular movement for this model. So that's a cool thing about this particular model. One of the big things, and I'm not an expert again on vintage watches, but the Daini factory, which is the maker of this movement, produced the 5200 caliber movements as high-end movements to compete against the Suwa factory. So there was a time where Seiko had two factories that were kind of warring to get, who would make the best pieces for them to actually compete against, Swiss folks and stuff like that. So this watch is so cool. 1976 vintage watch. I got a great example. I think it's, pretty nice and not overly polished or anything like that. And the dial just looks so clean. So you can get Lordmatics. It really just depends. There's a lot of different models out there, and there's a lot of searching, which is kind of the fun of watch collecting anyway. But you can get this watch between $100 to like $300, but it really just depends on the condition and also the rarity of the watch, and there's a lot of factors to it. I love this watch in particular. It's just got such a cool case. The lugs are so cool. I don't know. What's interesting about the design here is that it employs the Tanaka grammar of design. So let's just go ahead and get a little history in here. And I'm not a historian. I'm not a historian for watches, but Taro Tanaka was a designer for Seiko, and he came in 1959. So his whole thing is that he wanted to employ a holistic approach to Seiko design. So, the design studio in Seiko moved from just focusing on the dials to incorporate the whole watchmaking process. So, and that's a really cool thing. I mean, you can see that in a lot of the Grand Seikos now, but you can definitely see it in these pieces. So, the philosophy that Tanaka employed here, was definitely inspired by gem cutting. So, if you notice, like this case has kind of got that like. The lugs here is going to have this extra bevel here, and it's just definitely like a, gem-like in some ways. But yeah, there's 4 basic tenets to Tanaka's grammar of design. Number 1, all surfaces and angles of the case, the hands, the dial, and indices are supposed to be flat and geometrically perfect to best reflect light. And I will say one thing, this thing reflects light. It's like I don't know, man, it's like a jewel on your hands, and it reflects light, but also captures colors because it's like that simple silver color. I love that. The second tenet is that bezels are supposed to be simple, two-dimensional faceted curves. The third tenet is that there's supposed to be no visual distortion that's supposed to be tolerated at all, and the cases should be mirror finished, which you see here. Definitely mirror finished. And the last 4th tenet is that all cases are to be unique with no more generic round case design. So that's actually something that really caught my eye with this watch. This case is so unique, but it just has a classic feel to it. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the wrist so you guys can see. I love this thing. Let's get to it. All right, here it is on wrist. It's on wrist, and yeah, man, this thing is great. Okay, I have a 6 1/4 inch wrist, and it fits me really, really great. So one of the things that I really love about it is it does double as a dress watch because of that simple, clean dial. But the case shape does give it something that's a little bit more sporty, and I think that this Milanese strap kind of adds to that too. So I have some leather straps that'll really dress this thing up, but I am just addicted to this strap, man. It's got that perfect, let's see here, feel, and you can adjust it to the right length for you. So that's what I love. This thing is great. You can see how the light just refracts off that, the lugs, and man, I don't know. It's a unique watch, and I think that it's subtle and classy, and it makes me think of my family. I'll talk to you guys about that when we go back up, but love this watch. Great first purchase for me, I think, for my vintage watch, my first vintage watch. Excited to keep getting into more vintage watches, but yeah, let's go ahead and pull it up. I'll talk to you guys about it. Let's do it. All right, there you go, guys. This watch, this Lordmatic, is so special to me because it is my first vintage watch, but also, you know, my family, the folks, my aunt and my father, when they wore watches when they were younger, they grew up in the Philippines, so Seiko was kind of that grail for them. And when they did get Seikos eventually when they got older, it meant a lot to them. So for me, you know, it just reminds me of my family, reminds me of my Auntie Olive and my father. So I really love this piece for that reason, but also because it doubles as a dress watch, but also kind of a sporty, relaxed look as well. So, you know, which is kind of strange to say because it is high polish. It's got a smaller case size, but you know, for a guy like me, and if you have small wrists, this watch would work really great for you. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out, and don't be afraid. You know, speaking of from a new collector to you guys who might be new collectors, might be old collectors, but maybe haven't taken that jump into vintage watches, I say enjoy it. And if you guys are really interested in this specific design and, you know, vintage Seiko design, there's a great article from Worn and Wound about Tanaka's grammar of design. And it really does show really simple design choices that have a great effect, I feel like. So definitely gem cut looking and really unique. I love this watch. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. And of course, thanks for watching. Yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time.